Hi, this is the Honest Poppy and welcome to the Beginner's Stability Ball workout. This will be a great workout if you are new to using the stability ball or you've never used it before, or if you're new to Pilates in general. If you are not familiar with the basic foundation work and the principles of Pilates, take a look at my beginner's warm-up video where you'll get a few more explanations about these movements and these terms, and that will just help you to follow this video a little bit easier when I'm cueing things that you may not have heard before. With that, let's get started. So we're going to start with sitting on top of the ball. Now, usually when I ask you to sit on the ball, I'd like you to sit just off the top of the ball towards the front. This way your legs are quite active and they're having to work to hold you there and you're having to balance. We're going to do this warm up so that you can get used to some of the movements of the ball, start to get your balance. Some of these movements can be a little bit challenging in terms of stabilizing and keeping yourself balanced on the ball, but you will get there the more you practice this. So let's just start with some breathing. You're going to breathe in as you reach your arms up to the ceiling, open up your rib cage, and breathe out as you lower your arms back down again. Breathing in as you reach up, and out as you lower them back down. One more, reaching the arms forward. Then on your next inhale, you're going to reach your arms up the sides and to the ceiling, and then back down again towards your sides. In as you reach up, deep breath, and out as you lower back down. And last one of these, breathing in, and out as you lower back down. Okay, let's get a little bit of pelvic mobility now. So a lot of people are not actually aware of how much mobility they have in their pelvis, and sitting on the ball allows you to get a lot of movement. So allow your ball to move with you as you move your pelvis. We're going to start with the anterior posterior tilt, so a forwards backwards tilt of the pelvis. Now I'd like you to try and keep your upper body as still as possible. So imagine you're being held up by a string that's attached to your head. You're keeping the rib cage more or less stable, and we're just rocking through the pelvis. So you're going to tuck your bottom in, rolling the ball slightly forwards, and then you're going to push your bottom back, rolling the ball backwards, if that makes sense. So you're going to be tucking in and rolling back. There is going to be a little bit of movement in the upper body, but what I don't want you to do is kind of drop down with the rib cage. You want to keep this nice and stable while you just move from your waist. So we're activating those abs, and the glutes and the hamstrings might come in, the backs of your legs, and you just want to find your range here. So just move through a comfortable range. It shouldn't hurt or feel uncomfortable, but if it's a bit tight, just try and push into that stretch at the end. We're rolling that ball forwards, tucking in, rolling back. We're going to go for two more, tucking in and rolling back, and last one, tucking in and rolling back. Now we're going to find the middle position of those two. So not where we're rolled back, not where we're tucked in, but somewhere in the middle, and we're going to roll the ball side to side. Once again, trying to keep the upper body as still as possible and just rocking that ball side to side. You'll find that your legs are moving a little bit. You'll feel it a little bit in the hips as well. But again, we're moving from the waist, so just above the pelvis, going side to side, just letting that ball roll, letting your pelvis move, getting the abs working, the lower back, the sides, the hips. And we're going to go for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and then come back to center. If you want to repeat those two, you can go for it. We're going to move on to circles now. So if you imagine you're on a clock face, your start position is at 12 o'clock. You're going to roll the ball round the clock clockwise all the way back to 12 o'clock. Then you're going to stop and you're going to change direction. So rolling the ball anti-clockwise all the way around. Once again, trying to keep that upper body more or less still and just working through the hips and the pelvis here. So really moving, getting the right muscles activating. We're going to twist it round, bring it back. Twist it round, bring it back. Okay, so just getting everything mobilized, figuring out how to move your pelvis and your hips independently of the rest of your body. And we're going to do 2 more, going round, and last one going back round again, and finishing in that start position where you were in center. Okay, moving on to some roll down. So this is where we're going to start to move down and up the ball again. So again, your start position is here. You're going to breathe in to prepare, and then out as you tuck your bottom in, rounding your back and slowly walking your legs away as you roll yourself down the ball. So you're staying in that rounded position. The abs are working here to keep you curled, and you're going to finish in the position where your bottom has left the ball, but your back of your pelvis and your sacrum are still resting on the ball, and the bottom of your rib cage. So my upper body is held more or less upright by my abs, pulling my ribs down, and then I've tucked in my pelvis so that my bottom has come off the ball. Okay, you're going to breathe in to stay in this position, and then as you breathe out, you're going to roll yourself back up, pushing through your legs, staying round till you get to the top of the ball, and then finish up in that neutral spine. So we're going to go down again. In to prepare, out as you roll down, tucking in and walking away as you roll yourself down the ball, nice and controlled, holding that rounded spine. Breathe in to stay, and out as you roll yourself back up the ball, back to your start position. 2 more of these. In to prepare, out as you roll yourself down. Keep those abs on the whole way through. Breathe in to stay, and out as you roll yourself back up again. And we've got 1 more to go. In and out as you roll down. And breathe in to stay, and out as you roll yourself back up the ball, and finishing sitting on top of your ball again. Next, we're going to go into some leg lifts, and this is where the balance is going to come in, okay? You're going to have your hands resting on your ball, and what we're going to do is we're going to lift 1 foot off the mat and then place it back down again. Now, the more balanced you are, the longer you'll be able to lift that leg and keep it up. If you're feeling a bit wobbly, you're going to think that you want to bring that foot down quite quickly. You're aiming to try and lengthen this, keep it slow and controlled. Try not to shift across on the ball too much when you lift up your leg, because again, that's not going to challenge your balance as much. So you want to keep those legs in a midline. There will be a little bit of a weight shift over to the leg that's staying down. As you lift this leg, lift your heel followed by your toe, and then gently bring it back down again. Other side, breathing in as you lift and out as you lower. You want to be switching on the core here to stabilize and help you to balance, and coming down and lift. So we're alternating left and right, just lifting and lowering gently and with control. It does really help if you're feeling wobbly to just stare at one spot and try and focus on your balance. And then the better you get at this and the more balanced you get, you'll be able to kind of look around as you're doing it. But initially it might take a little bit of focus. So just focus your eyes on one spot, try and focus on your balance, try and focus on being tall and long and light as you lift that leg, and keeping the stabilizers on. So your transversus and pelvic floor are working here to keep you nice and stable. We're gonna go for 2 more, coming up. And bring it down, other side, lift and lower, and that's the leg lifts done. Let's move on to seated cat stretch now. So seated cat stretch, you're gonna take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're gonna tuck your bottom in, round your spine, stretch your arms forward and look down into your lap. And then straight away on your inhale, I want you to go into extension. So you're gonna bring your arms back, roll the ball backwards, extend your back and look up to the ceiling. On your exhale, tuck in and round your spine, reaching your arms away and looking down at your lap. On your inhale, roll that ball back, extend your spine, reach your arms behind you and look up at the ceiling. We're gonna go for 4 more of these. Exhale, rounding into flexion. And inhale, extending and reaching back. And tucking in and rounding on the exhale. And extending on the inhale, open up. And 2 more, tuck and round. And moving into extension. And last one, as you breathe out, rounding your spine, reach your arms away. And as you breathe in, coming into extension, and then bring yourself back to neutral again. Okay, sitting down on the mat next, we're gonna do a little bit of spinal rotation where we're rotating through the rib cage, but we're gonna have your hand resting on the ball. So we're gonna repeat on one side and then we're gonna move over to the other side. So rest your hand gently on the top of your ball is next to you. Think of your ball rolling along a straight line and then coming back again. Try to keep your legs and your pelvis still as you do this. We're just rotating through the rib cage, bringing the arm back, and then bring yourself back to center again, okay? So you're gonna breathe in to prepare, and out as you come around, roll your ball back with you, keep your eyes on your hand, and then bring yourself back to neutral, facing the front again. Pulling back on the exhale, and breathe in as you come back to neutral. Pulling back, and neutral. Try and focus on just rotating around the lower rib cage area, and back. We're going for 2 more on this side. And coming back, and last one. and coming back. Then switch the ball over to the other side, and we're going to rotate the other way. So breathing in to prepare, out as you rotate, twist, and in as you come back, and rotate, and coming back for 3 more, and coming back, and 2, and coming back, and last one, and coming back to center. Let's move on to the shoulders next. So you're going to be holding your ball in your hands. I'm just going to turn sideways so you're able to see a little bit better. You're going to be holding your ball in front of you, more or less in line with your face and your head. And you're going to go a little bit softer on the elbows. You don't need to reach your elbows completely straight, but try not to move your elbows too much with this one because we're going to be working into the shoulder blades here. So a little bit of pressure on the ball. Give your arms a little bit of activity so they help to stabilize. And you're going to breathe in as you push the ball away, and your shoulders are going to glide away from your spine. And breathe out as you draw your shoulder blades back again. I'm going to turn so that you can see this from behind as well. So you're breathing in as you push away, out as you draw your shoulder blades back. In as you push away, out as you draw them back. For 3, 2, 1. And release back to neutral, okay? We're gonna go into elevation and depression. I'm gonna stay turned this way so you can see my shoulder blades and you know what you should be feeling. We're gonna raise the ball a little bit higher now. So you're gonna be holding it kind of in line with your forehead now, but not over your head. So it's still ahead of you. And again, you can have those soft elbows. We're gonna reach the shoulders up and then glide them down your back. So think about what your shoulder blades are doing. Pull them down. You're gonna breathe in as you raise them up, out as you pull them down. For 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you can place your ball back down on the ground, and that is our shoulder work done. We're finally going to finish with hip rolls. So leave your ball on the mat where your feet are going to go. You're going to lie down on your back, and you're going to place your feet onto the ball so that you are in this position. Once again, your feet are not on top of the ball. They're more or less where you were sitting on the ball. So they're kind of just off the top, closer towards you, and they are hip width apart. Now, hip rolls we usually do just with the feet on the mat. So there's nothing different except for the fact that your feet are now on a wobbly, rolly surface. So there's a little bit more balance and stability required, but again, you will get used to this and you will get the hang of it if it is new for you. So you're starting in this position, you're gonna breathe in to prepare, and as you breathe out, you're gonna roll through your pelvis, curl your spine as you come up off the mat. Be aware with your feet up on the ball, you don't wanna go too high so that you end up pushing onto your head and your neck. You should have most of your weight on your feet and on your shoulders at this point, okay? So your head should feel quite free on the mat. You're gonna breathe in to stay, and then out as you roll yourself down through the rib cage first, through your lower back, through your pelvic tilt, and back to neutral. So it's nothing different from what we do on the mat in terms of the movement. It's just the stability is slightly different. You're gonna breathe in to prepare, and out as you roll up. Make sure that your knees don't open up, that they stay in the midline. So you might feel the inner thighs working a little bit here. You're gonna breathe in to stay, and out as you roll yourself back down again. We're gonna do 2 more of these. In to prepare, and out as you roll up. Breathe in to stay, and out as you roll down. And final one, in to prepare, and out as you roll up. Make sure your legs are feeling like they're working equally on the ball as well. You might find that your stronger side seems to be pushing a little bit more into the ball. Try and even that out as much as possible. And breathe in to stay, and out as you roll yourself back down again, and back onto the mat. And that's our warm-up done. Let's get into our workout. Okay, so the workout is gonna start with you sitting on top of the ball. We're gonna go into those roll downs, but once we're down on the ball, we're gonna do a combination of ab prep, breaststroke prep, where we're working through extension and flexion of the upper spine, okay? So you're gonna breathe in to prepare, out as you tuck in, rounding your spine, rolling yourself down the ball as you walk your legs away, and finishing in that position that we got to when we were doing the warm-up. So your upper rib cage and your upper body are quite free. They're being held up by your abs, and your glutes and your hamstrings are working to stabilize you here. You're gonna take your hands behind your head just to support your neck a little bit, and as you breathe in, you're gonna take yourself back over the ball into extension, so bending backwards. On your exhale, so just be careful here, don't drop your head onto the ball, support your neck. On your exhale, you're gonna head nod, come all the way through, back into that flexion position. So this is the ab prep part of it. And then as you inhale, you're coming back into extension, which is mimicking breaststroke prep into extension. You're gonna tuck your head in for your ab prep. Exhale, coming up into flexion, bending forward. And then inhale, coming back into extension again. We're gonna do 3 more of these. So make sure you do your head nod, supporting your neck as you come through into that ab prep, and then opening up, allowing the ribs to open, but with control of the abs. So it's a bit of eccentric control here, and then pulling through, shortening the abs as they pull you all the way up. 2 more to go. Inhale as you extend over the ball. Exhale as you come up into that ab prep position again. And last one, inhale as you allow yourself to come over the ball, then head nod and pull yourself all the way up into flexion. You're back where you started, and you're gonna walk yourself back up the ball to your start position, sitting just off the top of your ball. Okay, so let's go down onto the mat for the 100. You're gonna lie on your back and you're gonna place your feet on the ball. What you're gonna do with your 100 here is you're gonna be rolling the ball towards you for your inhale 5, and then roll it away for your exhale 5. Bring it in, take it away, okay? Right, so starting with this position with your legs in tabletop, you're gonna breathe in to prepare with a head nod. Breathe out as you come up into your ab prep position, hovering your arms at your sides. And we're gonna go in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 10, and in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 20, in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 30, in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 40, in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 50, in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 60, in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 70, in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 80, in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 90, in. 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. 2, 3, 4, 100. Bring that ball back, and then bring your shoulders down to the mat. Moving on to shoulder bridge now. So you're gonna stay in this position. Place your feet in the same position they were in for your hip rolls in the warm-up. So they're just off the top of the ball. They are hip width apart. So your hips, your knees, and your feet are all in line in a nice parallel position. For your shoulder bridge, to start with, we're just gonna get used to, again, the stability with the ball. So we're gonna be moving up and down. The principle with shoulder bridge is to keep the pelvis and the spine in neutral. So we're working through the hip extensors here. So don't roll your pelvis like we did with your hip rolls. Again, don't come up too high. Make sure you're not putting any pressure on your neck or onto your head. It should all be coming through the shoulders once you're up. So you're gonna breathe in to prepare, and out as you press down into the ball. Activate the legs first. Make sure you're pushing equally with the left and right, and then push yourself up off the mat, keeping this neutral. Breathe in to stay, and out as you come back down again. So that activation when you start to press into the ball is just gonna make sure that you don't wobble too much. Make sure that you're working both sides equally and you've got symmetry, and you'll feel a lot more stable coming up, okay? Breathing in to prepare, pressing into the ball. Breathe out as you push yourself up into your shoulder bridge. Not too high, make sure the abs stay on. You're gonna breathe in to stay, and out as you come back down again. We're going for 4 more of these. In to prepare, and out as you push up. Breathe in to stay, and out as you come back down. 3 more. In to prepare, out as you push up. In to stay, and out as you come down. Obviously, make sure your ball is not moving for this set. In to prepare, out as you push up. It needs to stay still. You're pressing down into the ball, not letting it get away, and that's going to trigger the hamstrings. And coming down on the exhale, last one. In to prepare, and out as you push up. In to stay, and out as you come back down again. Right, now we're gonna add a little bit of movement here, but controlled movement. If you feel like you can't move on to the next step, you're still struggling with this, then keep going with these for the next few, but I'm gonna modify and advance them a little bit more. If you feel confident with this, move on to the next level now. So breathing in to prepare, out as you push yourself up, then breathe in as you roll your ball away, breathe out as you bring it back towards you, and breathe in as you come down to the mat. Straight away, out as you lift up. In as you push the ball away. out as you bring it back towards you, and in as you come down to the mat. 2 more of these. Out as you push up straight away, in as you roll away, keeping that stability. Out as you pull it back towards you, and in as you come down. Last one, pushing up on the exhale, roll away on the inhale, keep the abs working, pull it back on the exhale, and come down to the mat on the inhale. Once again, if you're happy with that as a challenge, stick with that. I'm going to work into one more level after this. So we're going to do the lift and the roll away all at the same time. Okay, so here we go. You're going to breathe in to prepare, out as you come up, rolling the ball away, and then in as you bring it back and come down to the mat. Okay, so it's a 2 breath pattern, a lot quicker, but you need that stability. Here we go, pushing up and coming down, pushing up and coming down, pushing up, coming down. 3 more, pushing up, coming down. 2 more, pushing up, coming down. Adjust your feet if they've moved, pushing up. Last one, and coming down again. And that is your shoulder bridge. You should definitely be feeling that in the hamstrings with that knee work in there to help stabilize with the ball. It's a real hamstring push-up, shoulder bridge, that one, but make sure that your abs are working so you're not feeling any strain in your lower back. Okay, let's move on to our next exercise. Okay, this next exercise is a prep exercise for a more advanced version called short spine. What we're gonna do is we are just gonna do the beginning bits of it, the warm-up bit, and if you feel like you are ready to move a little bit further, then try one of my advanced stability ball workouts. Okay, so you're gonna take your feet on either side of the ball, and you wanna be central on the ball, so you imagine that your feet are kind of creating a center point running through the ball. If you're not central, your ball is just gonna flap around a little bit. Okay, so you're gonna hold the ball between your feet, between the inner border of your feet, so not with the soles of your feet on the ball. So you're having to work into the inner thighs quite a lot to hold onto your ball here. We're gonna start with a tabletop position, and if you need to imprint here to stabilize your lower back, then please do that. What we're gonna do is we're gonna push away onto the diagonal and then pull the ball back in. So this is gonna put quite a lot of weight onto your diagonal, as well as having to squeeze into the ball, about 30% squeeze there, and then bring it back to tabletop. Push it away, exhale, and pull it in, inhale. For 3, and bring it in. 2, and bring it in. 1, and bring it in. And then bring it down to the back. Now you can keep doing those, or you can move on to the next part of this, which is gonna create a little bit of extra challenge with the hip flexors and the abs. Here we go. So you can either carry on just with the stretch and bend, or you can add this little bit where we're gonna push away, hinge the hips so the ball comes to the ceiling, take it slowly back to the diagonal, stabilize here, and then pull it in to that tabletop again. Reach away, hinge to the ceiling, so just the hips working here. Then the abs stabilize as you reach your legs away again, and then you bring it back into tabletop. 3 more, reach away. Hinge at the hips, back to the diagonal, pull it in. Reach away, hinge at the hips, back to the diagonal, and pull it in. Last one, reach away, hinge at the hips, back to the diagonal, pull it in, and then you can bring your ball down and have a little breather. Okay, we're gonna move on to the roll-up next. So for the roll-up, we are gonna do very similar to the normal mat work version, but you're gonna be holding your ball in your hands as you do it. So you're just adding a little bit of extra weight, a little bit of work on the shoulders and the arms, giving the ball a little bit of a squeeze, maybe about 20 or 30% squeeze, just to activate a little bit into the pecs and the arms as well, okay? So as always, starting with your arms overhead with your rib cage flat on your tummy, you're gonna breathe in as you reach up to the ceiling with a head nod, and then breathe out as you roll yourself all the way up, reaching that ball forwards, not down to your feet, and your eyes are on your knees here. Breathe in as you start to roll back, dropping your shoulders, and out as you roll yourself back down, back to your start position. Breathe in as you reach up, head nod, out as you roll up, and all the way over, reach that ball away. In as you come back, remember, pull the shoulder blades down here, and rolling all the way down on the exhale, back to your start position. 3 more of these. In as you reach up, head nod, out as you roll up, and over, stretch into it, in as you start to roll back, and out as you roll down. Don't forget those shoulder blades need to stabilize as you come back down. And 2, in and out. Reaching into it, in as you come back, drop the shoulders, out as you roll down. And final one coming up, in as you reach up with a head nod, out as you roll all the way up and over. Stretch into it, in as you start to come back off your sit bones, and out as you roll all the way back down again and back to your start position. Lovely. Let's work into swimming prep next. Okay, for swimming prep, you're going to start on your knees in front of your ball. Have your ball against your legs, your toes are tucked under, and then you're going to lie over the ball and push your legs straight so that you are on top of the ball. You're going to reach your hands to the mat, but I don't want you to take your weight onto your hands. So it's just your fingertips helping you to stabilize. The idea is that this is going to challenge your balance and your stability. So you're right on the ends of your toes, and then your fingertips are just touching down onto the mat. You're going to bring your spine into a neutral position, maybe slightly extended, but nice and comfortable, and make sure that your neck is following the curve of your spine, so you're not looking forward, getting into those upper traps. Just keep your gaze down on the mat. So as we do with the mat work version of swimming prep, you're lifting your opposite arm and leg, and then bringing them down again, and reach, and coming down. Now obviously, you want to be nice and balanced on the ball when you do this, not wobbling side to side, but I'd also like you to focus on what's going on with your leg and your pelvis and your lower back. Try not to lift your legs so high that you go into a huge amount of extension in the lower back. This is all about the hip extension, so the glutes and the hamstrings working. Squeeze them as you lift your leg and lengthen it away, and then coming back down. I'm going to go for 6, and coming down, 5, and coming down, 4, and coming down, 3, and coming down, 2, and coming down, and last 1, and coming back down again. And then you can just come down onto your knees, round your spine over the ball for a lovely stretch into your back. You can tuck your bottom in and you'll get a stretch into that lower back as well. And just hold that and breathe for a few breaths before we move on to our next exercise. Okay, this is called the stomach massage, and it can be quite uncomfortable if you tend to be quite tight in your hip flexors, okay? I'm going to give you just one version of this, the version that I feel is probably the easiest and the most comfortable out of all of them. You're going to be in a rounded spine, so you can drop your pelvis back into a C spine, and you can reach back with your arms and rest on them, but try and keep that pelvic tilt active and using the abs rather than just dropping down into a nice comfortable sitting position, okay? So the shoulders are active, they're just giving you a little bit of support whilst you hold yourself in that rounded C spine, and then you're gonna take your feet to the sides of the ball and you're gonna give it a little bit of a squeeze with your legs. Now all you're gonna do is you're gonna pull that ball in towards you and take it away. Pull it in and take it away. But I want your pelvis and your body to stay still as you do this. So basically you're working into the hip flexors to bend your legs and pull them in towards you and then push them away. Okay, keeping the abs on. My foot is cramping if yours is doing this. Just give it a little stretch and we're gonna pull it in and take it away. Pull it in and take it away. For 4, still going, and 3, and take it away. 2, and take it away, and 1, and take it away, and then you can bring your feet down and release that position of your spine. For breaststroke, you need to have a wall behind you. If you've got a little ledge on your wall, that's perfect, but you don't need to have that. For your start position, I would recommend that you have your mat underneath your ball, otherwise it might slip out from underneath you. And for your start position, you are going to be on your knees like this with the ball against you. You're going to lie over the ball and then push your legs straight here. Now your breaststroke is going to be very similar to what you do on the mat. So we're going to be coming into slight extension, hovering the arms forward, and again, keep your neck with your body here. You're going to extend up as you circle around and then dive as you reach forward again. Extend up and dive. And you're breathing in as you come up, out as you dive for 4 and dive. 3 and dive. 2, and dive. Last one, and dive. And then bend your knees and round yourself over your ball to give your lower back a little bit of a stretch. Okay, here I'm going to start to introduce you to a few of the shoulder exercises that we do on the ball, where the ball is underneath your lower body and your hands are on the mat and your shoulders are having to do quite a lot of work to keep you there, as well as your core in your abdominal area, keeping that plank position. So we're gonna work into long box, but I want to start with just getting you used to balancing and moving about once you're on the ball. So for these ones, you want to start pretty much off the end of your mat, because you're going to be rolling over the ball and walking yourself forward, and you will run out of mat if you are not far back enough, okay? You will get the hang of this, but just take a few goes to get used to it. So you're on your knees, you're going to lie over your ball, and then you are going to walk yourself forward and onto your hands. Now this is the position I'd like you to start with. So to start with, the ball is going to be underneath your pelvis or underneath the bottom of your tummy. And this is where you're going to have the most support, okay? There is only one point between your shoulders and your lower body, which is your pelvis, and you have the support there. Okay, so this is the easiest version where you're not having to work too hard. However, I would like you to lengthen your legs away so that they are nice and straight and everything is active. Okay, so what we're going to do from this position is we're going to walk ourselves forward, and while we do that, the ball is going to roll further and further down the body, which means you're going to have to work a little bit harder to stabilize. So you're going to walk yourself forward until you get to the point where the ball is underneath your thighs. Now at this point, you are now having to stabilize your pelvis using your abdominals, because otherwise you will sink down like this, okay? So you're having to work through the shoulders, you're working the abs, and I want you to think about pulling your tummy up and away from the mat so that you are in a flat, straight line like a plank, still reaching the legs. Okay, if this is enough of a challenge for you, I want you to work through this range. So you're just gonna walk yourself back again to that nice, easy position where the ball was underneath your pelvis, and then walk yourself forwards again so that it's underneath your thighs. If you wanna go a little bit further and you wanna add another joint and a bit more stability, you keep walking forward until the ball is underneath your shins. Now we've got the quads having to work to keep the legs straight, the knees straight. Your pelvis is having to stabilize and stop from sinking down. Okay, so you're having to work extra hard here to keep everything nice and straight. And then you're gonna walk yourself back. Obviously your stability is a lot less when you're there. So just choose where you wanna push to. Just do a few walks forwards and backwards, deciding whether you just wanna bring the pelvic stability into it, and then getting used to holding that, or you can go that little bit further past the knees to the shins, where you're having to really work to stay as a plank, and then gently walking yourself back. If you are wobbling on the ball, it means you're probably doing too much, so just take it back a notch and work through the first position, get nice and stable while you're doing that, and then move on once you feel like you can walk in a straight line forwards without your ball wobbling, without falling off your ball. Okay, so we're gonna do 3 more of those. I'm gonna walk all the way through, but feel free to just stick to which version feels comfortable for you. And then walking back, and just make sure you're keeping transversus, pelvic floor, glutes and hamstrings, everything is working really hard to keep you nice and stable and stop you from falling off your ball, stop you from sinking into your lower back. If you are feeling this in your lower back, you are not stabilizing enough through the abs, so you need to focus on that point. Think about flattening, lifting away from the mat with the abs, and switching transversus on. Okay, one more go. We're gonna walk forward. Getting to this point, nice and stable, and then walk it back to your nice easy position. If you need to have a quick rest, if your wrists are hurting, your shoulders are tired, abs are tired, roll off your ball, have a quick rest, and then pause the video and rejoin when you are ready, because we're gonna go into one of the positions, whichever you feel best with. So if it was just with the ball slightly below your pelvis, I'm gonna stick to this for now because this is a beginner's video. If you feel like you wanna challenge yourself, then take the ball all the way down to your shins and hold that plank position. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna work into the shoulders a little bit. And again, we're just introducing you to the long box series. So Make sure that you're working through the shoulders, you're lengthening your legs, and we're just gonna push back away from your hands and then come forward over them again. Be careful when you push back because you're gonna get that lovely stability from the ball, and then as you come forward, you might just drop into it like that. Don't want that to happen. Make sure that your body stays in that lovely horizontal line. You're working the abs to hold everything nice and stable, hinging forwards and backwards, just working through that shoulder joint. And 4 more, push back, push back 3, push back 2, and last one, push back, coming forward, and then you're going to take yourself all the way back off the ball, put your knees down on the mat, and you can just stay rolled over your ball for a little while, stretching into your back again. Okay, another shoulder exercise where we are using the ball and having to use the core and the shoulder strength and stability quite a lot is the long stretch. So what you're going to do is basically you're going to be doing a plank with your elbows on the ball and your feet on the mat. Again, this is a wobbly surface, so if planks are challenging for you, this is going to add not only a strength aspect, but a lot of stability as well and balance. So what I'd like you to do is place your elbows on the ball or your forearms on the ball. Keep your hands apart. Naturally, you're going to want to hold them together, which is going to make this easier. So if it's easy, it's probably not correct. So take your hands apart, keep them apart. And what you're going to do is you're going to just push up into a plank. Now you need to have core stability. You need to have your abs on here. Don't sink into your lower back, okay? So we're going to go up into a plank position and we're just going to hold this for a few seconds. Okay, you're gonna breathe through, really breathe. It's gonna help you to breathe. So just really squeeze into the abs and breathe through for 3 and 2 and 1. Now, if that's too much, bring your knees down, have a little rest. If you wanna carry on, we're just gonna push through the toes, moving forwards and backwards with the ball, challenging your balance, challenging your stability for 3 and 2 and 1. And if you want to add a little bit more to it, you're going to pull the elbows, release, pull, release, 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and then bring your knees down and have a little stretch if you need to. Okay, next we're going to move into an exercise called Horseback, which is quite self-explanatory. What's going to happen is we are going to do a squat basically, and then we're going to have the ball between your knees and you're going to be squeezing it. So not only are we going to work into a wide squat, but we're going to add the adductors, so the inner thighs to it, which is going to make it that little bit more challenging. So the best way to get into the correct position is go into quite a wide squat before you even involve the ball. I want you to be quite upright when you do this. Try and have a neutral spine, so don't drop into this position. You shouldn't be bending forward, sticking your bottom out. You should be coming down quite straight and quite low. So from the front, that's gonna look like this. You're gonna be coming down into a sumo squat, basically. Okay, so you're gonna be coming down into this position, and then once you're in position, bring the ball in and grab it with your knees, okay? You're just gently resting your hands here. You're not leaning forward onto the ball. You are having to work into that squat. So we're working here to hold yourself upright, and then we're gonna add the squeeze with the ball and release. Squeeze and release. And we're gonna go for 10 here. 10 and release. 9 and release. 8 and release. 7 and release. 6, release. 5, release. 4, release. 3, release. 2, release. And last one, release. And stand up, have a breather, and we're gonna do another set after this, okay? So if you need to have a quick stretch, go for it, do that. Otherwise, straight back into it again. Whew. Right, so down into your squat first, okay? Be able to be stable here. Bring the ball in, find it with your knees, and you're gonna squeeze, release. So you should be able to take this away, not be leaning on it at all. Squeeze, release for 8 and 7 and 6 and 5, 4, 3, it's a tough one, 2 and 1, and release. Woo! And give yourself a stretch if you need to before we move into our next exercise in the same position, so we're not moving from here, but we're gonna get into the calf muscles next. Okay, so from the horseback, we're gonna go into the calves. So you're gonna just bring your legs into a neutral parallel position. You're gonna push your knees against the ball. You can lean on the ball this time because you actually need to put some weight onto it so that you're pushing into it with your knees and your toes are up. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna press up and down, up and down. So you're kind of pushing the ball down into the mat as you roll it forwards with your knees. Push and down, and that's gonna create some resistance for your calf muscles as you lift your heels, lower them down, lift and lower. Obviously, it goes without saying that your abs should be working, your core should be on, your shoulders are working here. And we're gonna go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release, and then you can come up off the ball. So here we're going to do some wall squats. You're going to use the wall like you did before with some of the other exercises, and you're going to place the ball kind of just behind your tailbone. Okay, have your feet a little bit further forward, and for that reason I would recommend having a grippy mat or something grippy underneath your feet, so again you don't slip forward when you're doing this. You're pressing back into the ball as you roll the ball down the wall, coming into that squat, and then you're going to push against the ball as you push yourself back up, thinking about lengthening your legs as you come up, making yourself taller, and the abs will switch on. So we're going to come down, pressing into the ball and pressing into the ball as we come up, pressing into the ball and lengthen the legs as you come up. And we're going to do 8 of these, coming down and lengthen your legs, 7, and lengthen your legs. So think about squashing that ball into the wall behind you. Your feet should be ahead of you at all times, so your knees should not be coming over your feet. And don't worry about going too deep with this squat, okay? It's more about the extension and the lengthening of the legs than coming too deep and using the quads too much here. Don't pop your knees back when you do this. Don't overwork the quads. Don't hyperextend the knees. We just want to lengthen, pulling through from the hips. And coming down, 3 more, up, and coming down, and 2, up, and coming down, last 1, up, coming down, and lengthen those legs. And those are your wall squats. We're gonna go into hip drops now. So you're gonna stay where you are, but you're just gonna turn to the side, and your ball is gonna be resting against your hip bone, okay? What I want you to do is try and get your feet as vertical as possible so that you're not leaning against the ball. You're literally just touching the ball enough so that it doesn't fall down. Okay, try and keep your pelvis neutral, and then your foot that's closest to the ball is going to come up. So you're in one leg standing with the opposite leg. And again, try and make that leg as neutral as possible so you're not leaning against the ball. What I want you to think about now is rolling the ball up the wall and down the wall. So you're tilting your pelvis side to side, kind of bringing it up on this side and then dropping it down. And what you want to be looking for is working into the stance leg, really. So it's the muscles that pull on your standing leg that are actually lifting your pelvis on this side and lowering down, okay? So working into the glutes here, lift and lower. Try and keep that knee relatively neutral. Don't pull up with your hip flexor. Try not to work into the obliques too much on this side. Just working into that stance leg. Squeeze the glutes as you lift and then release. We're going for 3 more. Lift and release. Don't lean on the ball. Lift and release. And last one, lift and release. And then you're going to turn around and do the other side. So have that ball against your hip. The closest leg is going to come up, and you can shuffle this leg as you do that. And then we're rolling the ball up and down, up and down. And again, I'm working here the most, okay? Not working too much in the obliques on this side, not working into the back either. So if you're feeling other areas working, just check that your pelvis is still neutral. You haven't rolled backwards, you haven't rolled forwards. You just want to be moving directly up and down in that lovely neutral tilting for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and then bring that leg down. And those are your hip drops. Okay, we're gonna finish off with one of my favorites on the ball. You're gonna roll down your ball as we did in the beginning, getting into this position, having your feet securely on the mat, and we're gonna do some arm circles here. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your arms overhead, push through your legs, and let yourself come back over the ball, circle your arms round, and then as you get to kind of this midpoint, you're pulling your legs in, curling through into that flexion position, and back to where you started. So you're pushing as you go over the ball, circle your arms around, bring them round and bring yourself back up again. Deep breath in as you go over and out as you circle, coming back up so the legs are pushing you away and then pulling you in. The arms are going over and around and your back is going over the ball into extension and then coming through into flexion. We're going for one more, in and out. And then roll yourself back up onto the ball again. And that is the end of our workout for today. Well done for completing the beginner's stability ball workout. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you are up for more of a challenge, try out my stability ball challenger videos. There are 2 of them that you can try and they will really get you working hard. Don't forget to subscribe to The Honest Poppy for more videos like these. See you soon.